All right, my friends, let's get right into it. First of all, we're gonna log in into AWS console and open S3 service and click on create bucket. So there are multiple things that we need to configure here, starting the region. And the basic rule of thumb is we have to go with whatever region is closest to our users. In my case, my users are going to be in US East 1. So I'm going to go with US East 1. And next, we're going to set our bucket name. And there are a couple of things that you need to know. The AWS S3 service is global, and your bucket name has to be unique across all AWS accounts. And when you create the bucket, AWS will let you know that if your bucket name is not unique. And the second thing is you need to match your domain, the bucket name is the domain name. So in my case, it's blog.nomadinus.com. So I'm going to set my bucket name to that. I'm going to leave object ownership and public access settings as is, but I'm going to enable bucket versioning for archival process and accidental deletions. So there you have it. We can create the bucket, and let's open up our newly created bucket. And there's nothing in there, so we can upload our HTML and CSS assets, which I already have right here. And this is how the end product will look like, but it will be over the internet. So I'm going to copy, drag and drop that into my bucket, upload them. Now go back to the bucket and make sure they're uploaded. It looks good. Now the next thing is we need to create a CloudFront distribution. So I'm going to go into the search and type CloudFront. Okay, so I'm going to click on create distribution, and for the origin domain, we're going to select our bucket, which is blog.nomadinus.com.s3 amazonaws.com. So we're not going to put anything in the origin path. And for the origin access, we're going to select the second option, and we're going to create control setting for that bucket. So we're not going to change anything here. Just click on create. And for the HTTPS and HTTP, we're going to redirect HTTP to HTTPS. So I don't need a WAF, so I'm going to disable that. And for the price class, I'm going to go with North America and Europe, because that's all I need. And since I have custom domain name, I'm going to add my domain name here. And it's going to be blog.nomadinus.com. And I don't have certificate for that, so I'm going to create a new certificate. So I'm going to click on next here, and we're going to type two things here. First, blog.nomadinus.com, and the second one is going to be www.blog.nomadinus.com. And we're going to click on request. So we requested our certificate. Now we need to validate it. And to validate it, we need to create records in Route 53. We're going to click on create records. And you see the records were created successfully. And if you go to Route 53 in our hosted zone, you will see that there are two new extra records. So that looks good. Now we can continue with the CloudFront, and I'm going to click on refresh here. All right, so the certificate didn't load, so we're going to refresh again. And now we see the certificate, which is blog.nomadinus.com. And we're gonna also set default root object, which is gonna be index.html, and that's the name of the HTML file that we uploaded to the S3 buckets. And as you see here, the S3 bucket policy has been created. We're gonna copy that and go to S3 to change the policy. We're gonna go to permissions, go to the bucket policy, click on edit, and we're gonna paste our bucket policy here and just save it. Now, while we're waiting for the deployment of our CloudFront distribution, which is gonna take a while, maybe 10 or 20 minutes, we can create our Route 53 records for blog.nobodyknows.com. So I'm gonna go to Route 53, click on create record, and type blog. And as for the record type, it's gonna be a record, and we're gonna alias to our CloudFront distribution. So we're just gonna type here CloudFront distribution, and you're gonna see that distribution in the list. So now just click on create record, and it's gonna take a little bit of time, and the DNS should be updated by the time the CloudFront distribution is deployed. So yeah, and here we have the CloudFront distribution deployed. Now we can go and test our static website. So we're gonna type blog.nobodyknows.com. Ta-da! There you have it. Now you have a static website hosted on AWS using S3 and CloudFront. And if you like this video, subscribe and like and comment.